for. It is Iowa, where we're going to see the greatness once again begin. I'm so thrilled with what I have seen. Our campaign is 48 days old. And in the last 48 days, I've been all across the four corners of Iowa and all points in between. I was born in Waterloo and born and raised in Waterloo and Cedar Falls. And in this wonderful part of our state, what I saw were reasonable, fair-minded people who loved me, poured themselves into me. And that's the voice that I learned growing up, of common sense and moral values. That set the tone. And I tell people, everything I needed to know in life, I learned in Iowa. My mother and father taught us to always love Iowa. They said, be grateful that you're from Iowa. Iowa is the breadbasket of the world. We feed millions of people from Iowa. Be grateful. I have always been grateful that I'm an Iowan. And I believe it's time we have an Iowan in the White House. And in the last 48 days, as I've been everywhere from Spencer to Storm Lake to you name it, we have been there, and Ames as well. As we've been all over the state, what we have seen is a restoration of that dream, and you have restored in me my faith in America. I see on the television destruction all across the country, but not in Iowa. It doesn't matter what city I'm in. I see happy, confident, optimistic people. The crops are growing. We've got a wonderful season, and people are more energized than ever before because they know we can do this. They know if we stick together that this will happen. They know we can secure the promise of the future for our children. How do I know that? Because I have seen all across Iowa wonderful people who believe this. They believe that life is precious and that from conception until natural death, we stand for human life. That's Iowa. And all across Iowa, I've seen a marvelous appreciation for marriage as one man and one woman. You showed the world when you did not retain those 3 justices in your last election. And as President of the United States, I will only appoint justices who follow the Constitution and don't legislate from the bench. This is important. And it's fundamental. It's foundational because the family is the foundational unit of this country. And with the family, we are everything. And without the family, how do we survive? We need the family to go forward. Now, people say, Michelle, that's unrealistic. It's absolutely essential that we maintain the family. I thank God for family. My parents were married here in Waterloo, Iowa. My dad proudly wore his United States Air Force uniform in their wedding picture. And my parents, unfortunately, in later years divorced. I was raised by a single mother. We went to below poverty overnight. But my mother said something to us. She said, it won't always be that way. It's going to get better. And while families aren't always perfect, mine wasn't. One thing that I learned from my great family is that we did stick together. That was a great life lesson because I saw that in Iowa, we are social conservatives and we will never be ashamed of being social conservatives. religious faith that my parents taught to me. I thank God. I thank God for what He has